Three men, one podcast. Welcome back to the Clerc podcast show. Not live, as Damon says. We are not
We could
live.
debate that because, we are live, but...
We're here. We are alive right now.
People aren't listening to it live or watching live.
Yeah. For everyone watching, welcome back to the show. It is the first three-man show in a while. Usually we have four people on here, which some might say is too much.
Three men and a mini Mac.
I was reading something about podcasts, and some people, it's kind of like a split thing. Some people enjoy podcasts that just have two people talking like back and forth because they feel like a third or fourth person disrupts the flow of conversation.
No.
But I like having the four people because you have the extra opinions and someone can back you up and
more ideas.
or not back you up if they have something that goes against you or whatever. So I like the format, but if anyone at home has any different ideas about it, feel free. We're always looking for comments.
Feel free to listen to another podcast.
Feel free. No, I didn't mean that. Feel free to comment about what you think about it because we're always looking for comments and suggestions. And my cousin brought up a topic I don't think we're going to talk about tonight because none of us did research on it. I did a little bit, but I never told you guys. It's called the Black Dahlia murder. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before. It happened in the 40s.
What's it about? The names from there?
An actress in California got killed by this guy, and he cut her in half, and he drained her blood out, kind of like a deer, and he left her on the side of the road. This happened in the 40s, and they never found out. There was 140 suspects.
Jeez.
And they never found the guy. But this guy came forward not too long ago, actually, and said, my dad was the one that did it. Because when he heard about this whole thing, he started looking into it and finding evidence at his house. And
so recently he came forward?
Recently he came forward.
Oh, wow.
Within the past, I think it was within the past, I don't know how many years, but it was not his dad died back in the 90s. And he came forward and said, my dad was not only responsible for this one murder, but responsible for the murder of at least 10 girls in California.
Oh, wow.
So his dad was a serial killer.
Yeah.
And half of his family thinks that his dad's a serial killer. The other half is kind of set on the fact that he was too nice to be a serial killer.
Yeah. Cold cases, those are very interesting, and you watch those shows, and it's good that detectives follow up on some of those that have a hunch, that doesn't sound right. And, or in this case, someone came forward and said, oh, we found all this stuff. Can you imagine being in a house and all of a sudden you're stumbling across all these clues in real time, and it's a family member?
Your dad is the one that, he had 12 kids. He ended up fleeing the country and marrying a Filipino woman and having 4 more kids with her. Is that not what it is, Filipino?
No, it is. I thought it was funny how he just randomly leaves and goes to the Philippines.
Yeah. No, that's just what my cousin sent me this article about it, and I did a little research, and I'm like, we could talk about that, but we're going to save that for when we do the
we just give a little
serial killers. Yeah, so when we do the serial killers, we're going to do a serial killers series where we're going to do 2 or 3 episodes, and we're going to get people on here talk about serial killers. I want to talk about the Zodiac, the Weepy Voice Killer, and maybe the Black Dahlia. That'd be the 3 we talk about. But you also got Jeffrey Dahmer and stuff like that I'd love to talk about too. What they base real life movies on. Because pretty much every slasher film is based on a real real life true story. Not a lot of people know that. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based on a true story, and Scream was very roughly based on a true story. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of people know. I don't know about Jason.
Very roughly.
Yeah. I don't know about some of these other ones. Yeah. Very roughly. But so look for that. We're going to be doing that soon. This week, I do have to announce that we are going to be giving away another shirt. Last week, we did announce the winners of the other one. This week, we have the Chupacabra edition. Orange, blue, and the Chupacabra on there. Ready to suck some blood, or whatever they do. Chupacabras.
I wish we had a real picture of the Wilder Demon. We don't really know what it looks like, so it's tough to put on a T-shirt. We should go search for that sometime.
I know, we keep saying that, and we haven't gone out and looked for it yet, but we need to get some spotlights. And for people that don't know, I don't even know if you know this story, Adam. Do you know the Wilder Demon
Not
story?
that I know of.
Oh, we better bring it back up, Damon. It's been a while.
A demon on God? Is that what it is?
Demon on God. So what happened is, I'm trying to remember now. This happened last summer or 2 summers ago. We talked about it last summer.
We talked about it under the bridge.
We talked about it last summer under the bridge.
Podcast.
Yep. If you go back and look at that, I don't know what episode that was, but it was the podcast we did under the bridge.
Where Colin almost blew us up.
Yep. And it must have happened last summer sometime, early last summer. Me and Mason were coming back from Worthington, and Mason was FaceTiming a friend, and we were kind of talking at the same time. And so I was looking over in the passenger seat. I was driving the old Prism, The old
God, I forgot about that bad boy.
And I'm looking over, and I look back at the road, and then I kind of look back. I double take, and I see something right above my car flying, and I'm like, "What the heck?" And I tell Mason, I'm like, "Mason, look!" And he looks up. He's like, "It was gone. It flew by too quick." And next thing you know it, the thing dive bombs and goes underneath my car and lifts my car off the ground. And me and Mason thought we blew a tire because I didn't see the thing at first. So I thought I blew a tire on my car until I went outside and there was hair. And it was weird hair. Like we investigated it. It was like you could stretch it. It was like stretch it hair.
Did you keep it?
So it wasn't like animal fur?
It was not animal fur. Unless you can find me an animal that the hair is like a. I'm trying to think of what you could compare it to. Almost like a rubbery.
We're gonna have to see this hair.
I can bring the hair. I can bring the hair on because I have it. I hope I have it still. I know that I saved it and I taped it onto a Post-it note just so I had hair.
You know,
no, there's more to the story.
I can't wait to see what he says.
No, like I'm not doubting you, but okay. So you know how my car has had that dent in the driver's side for the longest time?
Yeah.
So what you just said kind of makes me think back to how I got that dent because I remember I was driving in Wyndham by the cemetery, and I saw something out of the corner of my eye, you know. And I didn't think anything of it, but then all of a sudden I got hit, and I'm like what the hell is that? And I assumed that there'd be like a dead deer or something laying there. Mm-hmm. And I get out, and obviously there's that dent in my door, and then in the frame where there's plastic over the door.
Yep.
There's white hair stuck right there, and I assume it's fur. But the craziest thing about it to me is I always just passed it off as a deer ran into me head first, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I never fully saw it. I just saw a white flash hit me. But because obviously the second it hit my car, I stopped and got out, and I look all the way around. I look in the cemetery all the way around. There was no deer running or anything.
God, that's
and I feel like if a deer is gonna run, well, and one crazy thing about it too is that it came from the side where the houses are. Not the cemetery.
Yep.
So I mean, it's kind of one thing, like a deer just running through town, right there.
Yep.
And I feel like no matter what animal it is, if you're gonna run headfirst into a vehicle, you're gonna either be laying there or be dazed, but you're not gonna hit it and then just run around and keep going.
And there's actually hair, and there are two white hair. You said.
I mean, I got rid of the hair, but
yeah, he's not a weirdo like me. He didn't save it.
No, I didn't keep it, but there was a little patch of white hair stuck in the plastic part on my door.
Like the black, you have the black trim or whatever. Mm-hmm. Is that what it was stuck in?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Well, I have a story then too, but I bought my truck and it has a dent in the fender up there, a little one when I got it, but I wasn't driving on it, but maybe before I bought it, someone was
and the weirdest part, Adam, about this whole thing is after me and Mason hit this thing, I thought I blew a tire. I got out, I looked at my car.
Did you walk back a ways?
Yeah, well, yeah, it had ripped my front bumper off of my car, it had disattached it, so it was broken, and my car was dented. I'm like, holy cow, we hit something big. So then we're like, let's go figure out what it is. So we're walking down the highway. We walked back at least a half a mile, maybe a mile. We walked a long ways. Nothing was on the road. The only thing we found was weird teeth scattered on the road, kind of. Weird. I never told you that?
No, I don't remember the teeth part.
Yeah, there was weird teeth.
Human teeth? It seems like a crucial part to the story.
No, there was weird teeth, and it could have been from another animal or some other roadkill, but they were on the road.
Wasn't Colin with you?
No, it was me and Mason. Just me and Mason, yeah. And there was nothing in the ditch. We had our lights out. There was nothing. There was no. So we hit this thing hard. It lifted my car off the ground. And the weirdest part about this whole thing was, I told a bunch of people about it because I was actually kind of freaked out. And I had told Tori, Colin's ex-girlfriend, about it, and she told me that when she was driving through Wilder,
that's part of it,
that she saw some creature on the side of the road. This is daytime, and it wasn't a hawk, it wasn't a falcon, it wasn't an eagle. It was a big bird-looking creature, but it was eating roadkill.
Yeah.
It was eating like a raccoon. Because I was
thinking maybe that was, you saw something roadkill drove by and it flew off, but
no, and I mean, this happened to me.
Not trying to debunk the Wilder Demon because he's out there.
I don't know I don't know what it is. It happened to me after midnight. Are you putting a sex on this creature?
No, that's why I just wanted
to. It's 2019, Damon.
I wanted to make sure that we're not saying the wilder demon. Yes. No.
Yeah. And she said the thing was just like she didn't know what animal it was, and what I saw was giant wings flapping above my car. And it sounds fake, but I know what I saw.
I like the story.
And it's a creepy story, and to this day, I still have no idea what it is, but I still have the hair. And I don't know if there's somewhere you can go bring hair to get tested.
I think there's some place down in the square. Just the hair testing store.
No, but I mean, there's got to be some way to figure out.
You can get DNA.
Can you get DNA from?
Sure.
From an animal.
Don't they on show? Yeah.
To figure out what kind of animal it is.
Hair, to see if it's.
It's probably not free though. Sorry to interrupt.
No,
it's probably not free though.
No, I'd love to know what it is though. The hair I have on my car, because I know it was 100% from that creature because it was lodged into the bumper where it had ripped it off. And so I know it was from that creature for sure. And there was no blood or anything either.
I think getting hair from DNA is one of the best things.
No blood or anything.
No blood. You know, Ethan, you bringing this up.
Yours was from a cemetery, so.
That's creepy.
No, because.
It's probably a ghost demon.
Well, because mine came from like the opposite side of the road as a cemetery. You know, because like I was driving, so like the cemetery was on my passenger side, and it hit me on the driver's side.
So it came from the residential
side.
Side.
Had to get back to the cemetery. It was like out. And
gosh,
that is a valid point, and I did not think about that. No, but like I had always passed it off as like, all right, well, it must have been like a doe or something because if it had antlers, either like the antler would have busted and been there, or would have went through my door or something.
Yeah, true.
My folks just told me, speaking of antlers, that they live. I won't disclose where they live, but they live in town here.
Yeah.
And the neighbor across the street came and got my dad, and there was a big buck in her backyard taking a nap, like right in town. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I heard there was just a cougar spotted, I think by Mountain Lake.
What?
They keep it seems like every year they pop up. You get a cougar around here, so they
push them out of their environment, or they move.
I'm talking about.
Damn it, Mom.
I thought we were going over your place to eat when you texted that.
Yeah, I thought we were going over having a cookout.
I'm sure she would make plenty.
Did we just get invited over?
Just shoot her a quick text. Hey, Mom, I need a few more.
You having stovetop?
I know other people have wilder demon stories though, because people have told me. I know Kathy from McDonald's told me she's got a wilder demon story. If anyone has one, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, and we're in the Midwest. My friend Aaron Horkey, he draws and makes posters and stuff like that. And a lot of the stuff is like there's a couple that look like something that you were describing. I'm not saying he saw it or anything, but I mean, there's some cool art out there.
I'm so convinced that whatever I hit that hard enough to lift my car off the ground to make me actually think that I blew a tire, that whatever I hit would not be alive. There's no way. I don't know what could survive and get away that quick. We never saw anything running. We never saw anything flying again. Like, I don't know what kind of bird, or like maybe we hit an eagle, but we would have destroyed it.
No bird.
We would have. I mean,
why would an eagle be under your, or like be flying?
Why would it do? The only thing I can.
Birds don't have hair.
Damon, remember what They do have hair, don't they?
They have feathers.
Okay. The only thing I could compare this to, Damon, I brought this up before.
Yeah, let's hear it.
You remember this when we were under the bridge? What I compared it to? It sounds ridiculous. Adam, look up on Google. Look up.
I was to check my phone. I'm like, what am I doing?
No. Look on there. Just go to open a new tab. Look up. This sounds ridiculous, but look up the Jeepers Creepers.
Oh yeah, of course I remember that.
Jeepers Creepers what?
Creeper.
Because I had a video clip of him shooting the thing on the truck, shooting up at the thing. And it's so funny. Jeepers Creepers. We always talked about Jeepers Creepers.
Yep, the guy from Jeepers Creepers is the only thing I can compare it to, and they call it the Creeper. Literally this, and it grows wings and it flies.
Oh yeah, those great clips. And we talk about this for one more minute. It's got to be in the title of the podcast. The Wilder Demon.
Bring up the Wilder Demon. It's got to come up here. Oh, there it is, right there.
Yeah. Now, where's the video clips? There's
one where they're in the back. The videos are hilarious.
The back of the truck, and they have it's got a name. It's like
It's a creeper.
Their weapon has a name, like something 2000 or something. Oh 3000,
yeah. The grandpa shoots the harpoon through the creeper.
Yeah, because we're gonna have to make one of those.
This is ridiculous. Now we're sounding like.
No. Yeah.
This is getting to sound like the creeper takes Dari scene.
Is that the one?
We're gonna take
cornfield attack. No, watch the cornfield attack. If we're actually going this far with it,
we're gonna have to build something for the back of the truck to shoot at.
Exactly, we're gonna need.
But we have to capture. We don't want to kill it.
I don't want to kill it. I don't want to kill it. There's something else we can do.
If it's hopping under people's cars, we should probably do something about it.
We're gonna have to go find an old prism first.
They're addicted to the sound of the prism here. This is a commercial.
How fast do you have to be going?
I was going 74 when I hit this thing.
In a 65, Ethan? Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Well, your speedometer's probably off.
Probably was. That car is actually in outside of Chicago because it died, so there's nothing left of it.
Yeah, my old Lancer got sold and totaled, so now I'm hurt. Ooh. Tree fell on it.
All right, let's watch a scene. This is how we are going to capture the Wilder demon, everybody. If you're listening, you're just going to have to take in the audio experience of this, yeah.
And if you're out there, demon, we will find you.
Yeah. All right, here we go. There it is. Wilder demon.
I can't believe we're watching Jeepers Creepers.
I'm going to get a copyright notice from this.
It's not buffered yet, so they can't really tell.
Every time I put like a movie clip in here or whatever, I get a copyright notice. And then I have to go submit a dispute to YouTube. Mm-hmm. We can legally watch these videos or anything we want under copyright law criticism, as long as we're criticizing or providing, criticism or commentary. Oh. So right now we're commentating over the video, so that we're legally able to watch this video. I can even play a little bit of audio.
Does it have to be criticism, or can you praise it too?
You can talk either way.
As long as you talk about it, right?
As long as there's a couple. I learned this in film school. One of the only things I did learn. I did learn that as long as we are not making this video the sole part of our artistic expression, like our podcast, we can literally put whatever we want in here. So that's like the law, because they want, like, how do you think Tosh.0 or anybody who reviews other people's videos, they're able to do it?
Cornfields, Children of the Corn is a scary movie too.
Oh, yeah.
We were bringing it up.
Let the record show I've never seen this movie, so if there's a jump scare,
I'm not prepared
gone. For it. I'm really bad with
We'll freeze frame it on one of those cameras.
This thing is horrifying, though, the creature.
Right now, it's like it's on a scarecrow.
It's on a scarecrow post, yeah.
But it also looks like a
It flies, though. You'll see it fly here, Adam.
Yeah. I know
Oh, my goodness.
I know exactly what Adam's going to do after the podcast tonight.
Not watch this
There's
movie.
like 3 or 4 of them, I think. So
No, there's 2 of them.
2 of them.
2 of them, yep.
Whoops.
Actually, they did make a third. They made a third. Yep, they made a third.
Oh.
One of my buddies from Columbia actually helped with make the movie, or was in it.
Really?
Yeah.
We should raise money and have Adam watch this movie on the 2nd floor by himself at night in the park.
If you're feeling like you want to get involved,
you could honestly just...
How much would it take?
No, absolutely not. I probably wouldn't even watch Shrek on the 2nd floor by myself.
The 2nd floor of the park is kind of creepy. Here comes the dad.
It could be broad daylight. I'm not a big fan of the upper levels of the bar.
No. This is like the first scene of this movie.
Yeah, what? This is like the long. This is like we're like screening the movie now. We're like,
yeah, you might as well shut this off. Anyway, they end up.
You get the idea.
You got the idea of what it does. It flies around. Yeah. That is the only thing that I can compare what I saw to. It sounds ridiculous, and it's almost as ridiculous as last week. I was watching. When I was editing the podcast from last week, we talked about time travel. If you haven't watched it, go watch.
Very entertaining phone calls that happened on that one.
Yeah. Did you you saw the edit I did, Adam, where I'm like zooming in on you and everything?
You know, I was gonna snap you and tell you that the editing on it was perfect, just the in and out.
And I don't know what I was doing. I didn't see that, but I was. Just
didn't watch it?
I was just zoned out. I mean, I didn't watch. I didn't see that clip. I watched.
Oh my gosh.
It was like an episode of The Office.
Yeah, because I'm talking about it, and you can just see Adam's like his eyes and everything, and I'm like zooming in on Adam slowly.
I can imagine P2P was awesome.
Oh yeah, and Pete looks over quick when I say something. It's just like, I don't know. That little 2-minute part of the podcast is so ridiculous what we're talking about.
When we were talking about DARPA, and that actually is like the government defense. They go and look into intelligence, like weapons. Like
is that what it is?
That's what it is. So that's when they say CIA and DARPA.
Because I'm like DARPA.
I should have known that.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I know I should have known that, but it is like they look for the new type of weapons. And
I'd heard of it before, but I didn't know what it stands for. Defense and
something like that.
There's no way the A stands for and.
Yeah, true. They never put that in there. They never make the defense and response and the DARPA.
Defense against. I don't know.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, I said the Wilder Demon on a T-shirt. Here we go.
We need, and someone was asking.
Got it right here. The Wilder
That's
Demon.
the Phantom. Someone was asking me if we could do the Wilder Demon on a T-shirt, and I don't know.
We'd have to. Yeah.
We'd have to design one.
I mean, we don't want just a couple strands of hair on there.
on a post-it note.
I got 4 strands of hair, but I'm being serious. I'm gonna bring the hair, and you guys, you need to feel what this hair feels like, because I know it's not dog hair. I don't know.
It's like a Bigfoot hunter kind of stuff.
It's not even Bigfoot hair, because you'd think Bigfoot hair would be like matty, like you could compare it to like a dog or a monkey, but this hair is like stretchy. Like you could stretch it out like elastic.
Like human hair? Because I feel like
human hair is not stretchy.
It's a little stretchy.
It is
isn't
not stretchy. Like I don't know if maybe your hair, but like I could pull this hair. I could pull Adam.
Probably uses Pantene.
My hair is actually Egyptian cotton, believe it or not.
How many threads?
Very
I could compare it to like if you pull a thread off of like a mattress, how it kind of it's like elastic.
Oh,
I compare it to that.
Really?
Yeah. Which I don't know what kind of animal. If anyone know, I mean, there's people that know a lot more about animals than I do. So if you know what kind of hair would be stretchy,
Yeah. Last thing on the Wild Redeemer, if we do that show, we have to have like some of the masters on because they have their landscaping business right there. Like, maybe,
really?
Maybe, maybe.
I don't know, and we got to ask more people about it. Has anyone seen anything? If you're out there, let us know. Wanted.
Let us know.
Wanted.
There we go.
That brings me to the next thing that we could talk about because we're going down this path. Why? I mean, it seems like every part of the United States has a different like thing or like a mythological thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you think of like Colorado, Montana, around there, that's where all the Bigfoot sightings are.
Yeah.
If you think of like down like Nevada, New Mexico, the alien. Yeah. If you look at out east, they have a whole bunch of them. I'm trying to think. They have the God, what's the name? If you look some up, Adam, I can't think of the one out east.
God, I should know it off the top of my head.
It's like the
like New York
the
area?
New Jersey Devil is one. That's a big one. The New Jersey Devil.
Come on, Adam. You gotta pay attention.
There's one though. I can't think of the name of it.
You type it on your
just
mouse?
look up mythological creatures of the United States. I know we've talked about this before, but it's so interesting to me.
Yeah, it is, and it's like Wisconsin has the Rylander has the Hodag.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
And it's like such good for tourism. Like even if they are made up stories, it just takes on a life of its own. And
but if they're just made up, how do you think it's something that got made up a long time ago and they're passed on?
Well, sometimes it comes out that they made them up for like tourists or guy, some local dude made them up and kind of ran with them.
Just old,
but not the Wild Redeemer. I'm
tales.
definitely not saying that about the Wild Redeemer.
Yeah, I don't know what that. I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about. I just saw Jersey Devil popped up on here though.
Did it?
Yep. There it is. The Jersey Devil.
That lives in the New Jersey Pine Barrens.
The Chupacabra. That's like New Mexico and Mexico. That's a big one down for the Southwest. Keep going down. Hog. There should be a map on here, isn't there? Okay, here we go.
Monsters in America.
The one I'm looking for is Thunderbird.
Ooh, Ohio has a frogman.
Paddler. Oh, if you also think about like
Mothman. Oh my.
Mothman.
Yeah.
That is the one I'm thinking of.
West Virginia.
That is West Virginia up there in that area. And there's been people have taken pictures of the Mothman before, and they have a big statue in this one town. It almost looks like a superhero. What about the Loch Ness Monster? I see Tessie on there.
No, I'm just kind of laughing at some of how these look.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing
especially
is,
this one because random anecdote. If you've ever played Sly Cooper, the PlayStation 2 game, Damon,
No, haven't.
Not
No.
a Sly
I
Cooper guy.
haven't,
Anyway, the
Zelda.
The villain at the end of it, his name's Clockwork, and he's like a giant like mechanical owl, and that's exactly how his shadow looks.
that's kind of what the Mothman is like a giant owl, but like a creature like that has hands.
They're using
and
Mothman
feet.
in the video game.
But yeah, they have a lot of the ones I was thinking of on here, like Chupacabra.
Hope Lick Monster.
What the heck is that?
What's going on in Louisville?
Yeah.
Puckwudgie looks like a little. That looks a Harry Potter creature right there down
Like
there.
Dobby.
Yeah, it definitely does. But how do you think all this stuff?
The lizard.
The Lizard Man of Scape or Swamp.
South
How do you
Carolina.
think all this stuff gets made up? Because this is such creative, like blending humans, animals. I know we've been doing it since the Egyptian times, but
I know.
Yeah, have we?
why do you think that we are so intrigued by weird mythological? I mean, a lot of that stuff is just so far out there, but people really get into it, like Bigfoot and aliens. Like we did a whole podcast on both of those. But why are people coming up with this kind of stuff? Why do you think they're seeing it? Like, what is it?
Like why are they seeing it? You mean, or like?
Or what are they? If they're not seeing it, what are they? Are they? Is it just a bunch of people?
Sometimes maybe it's really good imagination, or it's like wanting to know something that other people don't know. Like makes them feel special, and that's kind of a lot with some conspiracies. Like when you talk a lot about, because it's kind of like knowledge that you can look into and you believe you know more information than someone else.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this stuff. Some of them is probably like tourism stuff too. It's like fun to run with the story.
For sure.
And like sell T-shirts and do
think
things like that.
Drugs have anything to do with
drugs? Maybe was that one zombie drug?
I'm seeing a lot of them are down south. I know there's a lot of meth down there. So I'm just.
I don't know if it's all down south.
No, it definitely isn't. But I know that. I know a lot of the communities down there. I mean, that's another topic we get into too. How drugs play in like popular culture and stuff. But I feel like a lot of this stuff's
interesting because it's fun to read about.
It's fun.
Absolutely.
It's like comic book stuff. Like people like reading comics and you run with it. And then now, do I believe that any of these creatures we're looking at are real? Probably not. Because Wilder Demon's not on there. But they have great stories.
What do you think out of all these is the most
Chupacabra, because it could actually be a cross between some
dog and
wolf things that are breeding or something, and I don't know the full background of those, but
to be honest, I think for me, I think Bigfoot is the one that could be the most real. Really? I think it's an ape. Like it's obviously a monkey. I think everyone can agree on that. But it's like a prehistoric creature. Like there's not too many of them left. But I think part of me, because I know we talked about this before, part of me wants to just say.
Believe it?
It actually is, because that footage, I can't think of the name of the footage. The most popular Bigfoot footage.
Oh, that one where they're walking?
Where he's walking and he looks back. They just high definition. They got the video in high definition. Someone took the time to do it, remaster it. And if you watch I think it's called the Patterson footage. If you look up the Patterson footage, Adam, for the Bigfoot, I don't know what could do that. Like back in the day, the way they shot it, everything about it looks so real. Like it looks.
See, my side of when I think about it, and not an argument, but how I look at it, one of the main ones is the ecosystem and how something like that would survive without populating. And if they do, I'm sure there's studies out there. But like how much food it would have to consume and like wipe out, and then how does it reproduce, and the age of the, I don't know if you call them Bigfoots or Big Feet.
Big Feet.
But
Big
that's one I think my dad believes in, himself, or wants to believe in too.
Really.
And I think maybe, I don't know what percentage of people do, but and now with all the cell phones out there and stuff, and all the sightings that people have in the shows. I mean
look at this thing.
Thing with this guy, these guys were out there shooting a movie. About Bigfoot, like actually looking for Bigfoot. It wasn't like they just like ran across it.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a strike for me.
The only thing is,
optimistic.
that is so realistic looking, the way it moves and everything.
It's also very old footage, like 1967, is that the original date of it, I would assume?
Yep. It's been analyzed and analyzed. It's literally the most popular, the closest anyone's ever got to Bigfoot, like for good footage. That's the only thing that strikes me. Nowadays, everyone's got a cell phone. Watch it one more time, Adam.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
See, I know they've analyzed it, but
look at the muscles on that thing. Even if that was a guy, look at the leg muscles and everything. I don't know if you can. Oh crap! I don't know what this is.
Do they have great stuff sealant back then? You could.
That's the kind of guy that gives Bigfoot a bad name. Yeah. Bubba, Bobo, and Hickey.
Well, I don't know, bad name, because a lot of people like that guy. I mean, he's probably a decent.
True, yeah, but I mean, look at this.
He's the guy that stands out in the open, and like he's.
What kind of costume is that realistic? Like that just. But I mean, it blows me away. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong here. You guys tell me what you think.
I'm not. I wouldn't say you're wrong. I'm just not that impressed with
really?
that footage. Yeah.
I just kind of have
but you're not wrong.
A hard time believing that, like, if it was I guess not. I guess it wouldn't be mythological if it was real. But I guess that if it was like either like a prehistoric like creature or whatever, I feel like it wouldn't. For one, like it wouldn't just be walking. Happen to turn and see those guys. I mean, I don't know if there was audio, if they yelled at it or something.
There's no audio.
It might take off running or attack them.
No audio that I'm aware of.
I don't think he would look back so calmly and then just keep going as if like nobody was there, because he definitely saw them recording.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like if it was something that wanted to remain hidden, he would have charged those guys.
Yeah, you get out there and you track that Bigfoot down.
That footage.
I mean, he probably would have took off towards him, like on all fours or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. That footage that we just looked at is enhanced, and if you look at the original footage, it's like crazy shaky. Like that footage we just watched is the clearest. Yeah. Stablest footage I've ever seen of that.
Yeah, I would say it said in the title that it was stabilized.
Yeah,
so that was,
yeah.
If I knew we were talking about Bigfoot, I would have brought some Jack Links and my knocking stick. Had to call some in here.
Think with your dipstick.
You make a good point though, Adam. If it did see them, how come it? Are you saying it didn't come back, or it didn't?
Like it just looked
so calmly.
as it was walking. It just looks back at them, doesn't react at all, and just keeps on going on its normal path. It doesn't take off into the woods. It doesn't.
But
just
what if they're so what do you call it? They're so what do you call it? Like what pigeons are in New York City. Like they're so used to humans.
Domesticated.
They're so domesticated. What if Bigfoots are
they can't be domesticated because they'd be like living next to it.
They have to. Don't tell me though. They don't know that we're not here, and they don't know that we're not looking. I feel like big feet. Is that what we've agreed on?
Go with it.
All right. I feel like big feet know that we're looking for them, and they're purposely hiding.
Wait, did they read in the newsletter? They're walking past the TVs and wouldn't it be funny like if someone like went into a house or their house and they found like blooper footage of like what those guys are shooting? They have ones where that Bigfoot the exact same way is walking, trips and falls.
Yeah,
and the guy's
I'm just saying though. What if the big feet, multiple Bigfoot for people that aren't on the same level as us here.
We're experts. We're really
We're
creditable.
experts now. What if they know, because I'm assuming that creature has to be more sophisticated than a regular monkey for the way it moves, the way it. I'm gonna go out on a wild hunch. What if they know that we're looking for them, and so they're purposely hiding so they don't get their species killed off?
And I think that's kind of my thing with like if he was purposely hiding. For one, he's wide out in the open.
Yeah.
And two, like I said, if he was hiding, wouldn't he just bolt for the woods?
Yeah,
you know?
It's like, you can't have a video of me. I don't want to be discovered.
Yeah, but I mean, it is weird though. There isn't very much video footage of Bigfoot.
Yeah.
That could be used by skeptics to say, well, that's proof.
It brings in viewers though, because there is that show we've mentioned before, and the same thing happens on every episode.
We almost got him.
We almost got him, and they lead up to we got a thermal. Oh, it's a deer.
Every episode. But
today we're bringing in a band because we heard that Bigfoot. I'm just gonna say Bigfoot. Like there's one likes like loud music, so we're gonna bring a bunch of kids in the forest and play music. And
I'm hearing some weird noises now.
I know.
Don't get me started.
Probably doing knocks.
I don't know.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah. There's it's thundering from above us.
I heard like a knock.
I also heard a knock on like glass.
Yeah. And it came from like almost the ceiling.
I didn't see anybody though out over here.
The first one sounded like right here. The second one sounded like it was like the next door.
You could feel the stuff move.
That door's open though, so someone could get in here.
Yeah.
I think it's open.
Well, see.
Now I'm freaked out.
Now they're hearing about the podcast.
And I don't know how many times I have to tell you guys this. I hate being here. Thank God I can see the sun, so we're here during the day.
Yeah. What are we talking about? Bigfoot. Okay.
And how much you believe in them. That's why you got him on your shirt that you wore in the first one.
He was trying to send everybody a subtle hint.
Yeah. No, I mean, that out of all the things we talk about a lot of stuff I don't really believe in, like aliens and we talked about ghosts and stuff a lot. But I can
believe that there's a lot of. Oh, sorry to cut you. I think there's a lot of like probably ocean creatures we haven't discovered because there's so much vast ocean land.
That is true.
Because I suppose the argument would be there's a lot of forest land that's not discovered, but we would have saw them there. I mean, where these sightings are popping up are like now are all over the place. Like they're all over the United States, not just like a Colorado can see. Like
they mostly are.
And a lot of them aren't like. I mean, there's no way that those are real because everyone would be seeing them. They'd be populating and going around. Like, how do they populate? What do they eat? They'd have to consume so many calories a day, like to eat things that. And I know it's not all Jack Links.
I mean, you don't honestly think that there's enough animals out there for them to eat that.
Not without finding them in the ecosystem, like not to have them do there is banging going on, not to have it like be noticeable that it's like making a change in like someone's ecosystem where they're living.
Where is that knocking coming from? Though?
I don't know. All I know is that I hate that you guys can both see behind me.
I know. Well, I got your back. I got your back, and that's like
I'm not seeing anything.
So I'm gonna throw one elbow and hopefully catch something.
Yeah.
You're saying though that Damon that they would eat so much that there'd be a noticeable change in
if they could hunt that much, if they're still hunting with their bare hands and catching it, and or you'd eventually find a lot of carcasses of that, but not only that, like you'd eventually find like a Bigfoot carcass, like Bigfoot bones, or Bigfoot
one has to die
eventually. Unless they're like live 300 years, but.
True.
I think they started popping up more sightings like once a couple guys like they started talking about it in the 50s. Now I could be wrong, but like once someone plants that seed in there, then people like really run with it. But No, I'm definitely not saying you're wrong. It'd be fun to find one someday, but right now I'm just not a believer.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm a believer either. I'm skeptical about the whole thing.
No,
like
you did.
I would say though that it is, out of all the things we talk about, it is like the one that I'm like the most maybe there is something. The alien thing, I'm pretty much convinced no. I mean, we'll talk about that with the next guest too, because I have a couple things to bring up about that. But the ghost thing, I'm pretty much convinced there's no ghosts at all. I mean, I would have seen something by now. I would have had to for how many like abandoned haunted buildings we've been to. We would have seen something by now. I mean, maybe certain people are prone to run into ghosts or whatever, but I just can't.
That's a good point, because like a lot like when Adrian mentioned that on the one where you have to have an open mind, or like when there's a lot of open minds, you can like almost conjure something up or do that. But yeah, I mean, that's such a great debate, because if you, like yourself, if you don't believe in them and you don't see them, so like that's a deep back and forth debate, Like, do you have to believe in them to believe them? Or, I mean, that almost sounds like a good out. Like, you have to say that, because then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for someone to say you have to believe in them for them to believe, Like,
I think that when you want something to happen, like, you bring that energy to where you'll manifest it. Like, and I don't even think it's a real thing. I think you're more coming up with things.
Yeah.
Like you're picturing.
I don't want to, the term ghost and spirit, I don't know. They're kind of two different things to me. So, like,
really?
Ghosts are well, I don't know if that's even a proper statement. I don't know if that's proper. I mean, I believe that it could be like spirits out there and like some type of, people believe in heaven and afterlife, but maybe staying up there. But I mean, I believe there's like auras and spirits of things possibly. But as far as like that video, like watching there, I don't want to debunk them, but there always seems to be some type of explanation, like what you're seeing maybe. No really raw footage of like, that's concrete. Not that you always need something concrete to believe in something.
Yeah,
but
I do believe in demon possession. I believe that's very real.
So that's spirit. That'd be close to spirit, and I mean,
but total opposite end.
Totally opposite.
Because I think spirit of like good thing, like.
Oh, so not like possessed.
Then I would put that under
exorcism?
Like demon possession. Like
yeah.
I think demon possession is a very real thing. Like I think people can be possessed by demons. I've heard of. Missionaries going to like Africa, and dogs are talking to them, like in like actual,
like a toad or something.
A toad? No, like an actual dog is talking in English or whatever language. Like they're actually talking, and that's because
this is where you freeze on Adam's face for the video.
This is stuff that missionaries have told me before, that have gone over there and seen it themselves. They'd have no reason to lie about it. I can 100% see that, because there's so much witchcraft and like evil conjuring up of these spirits over there that I can 100% see it happening.
Then you have to believe in ghosts almost. I mean,
no, but I
guess I just said there's maybe a difference between spirits and ghosts. So.
To me, it's more of a religious thing too, because I know that in the Bible, whatever, they talk about spirits and stuff too, but they never talk about them lingering around. Yeah. But they do talk about demon possession.
Well, there you go. Maybe do you think God created Bigfoot?
He could have. It did sound in the Bible, so I don't know. Two of every creature. I have no idea.
We had two Bigfoots in the ark.
A male and a female.
Ooh.
You never know. I mean, it doesn't list the animals, so you never know. But I do. You don't think demon possession's real, Adam?
No, I mean.
What is your honest opinion on it? Tell me if you think I'm crazy.
No, like I believe that it's real, but like I also believe in like ghosts and like all that.
You do
kind
believe
of
in
stuff.
ghosts?
Absolutely.
Really?
I really don't have any firm story to back why I do.
Yeah.
I just kind of feel like it's one of those things where, it's brought up so much, and like it's so common to talk about, and obviously like it could be something that just kind of like came up out of nowhere and people just kind of ran with it, but I think it is definitely more than possible.
Yeah.
That like ghosts do exist. I mean, I'm not saying that like everybody, once you die you turn into a ghost and that's that,
Mm-hmm.
But like there are certain people, and like for whatever reason that like their spirit or like their ghost will hang around and linger for I don't know, like if they have control over like how long they're like up or whatever. But I don't know. I definitely believe in it. And as far as the demon possession, that's right down the same line for me. Is that it's extremely possible.
Yeah. Do you think people are what do they call it, reincarnated or whatever, like a second life? Like Like what do you call it? Like when you die,
you got it, reincarnation.
You reincarnate into another. Your spirit
things.
goes into another baby, or you turn into an animal. Or people are like, definitely in my past life, I was a whatever. I was a girl, or I was. Do you think that's the thing, or no?
I honestly see that's really tough because if you like reincarnated into like an animal or something, like. If it's just like your soul going and it's like a whole new body, you know, if you like a whole new brain and everything, like how much of you is really even the same person and how much would you remember from the past life, you know?
True. I think it's not taking your brain because everything you remember and everything you think about is in your brain. It's taking your soul and putting that into a new... Because the idea is energy can't be created nor destroyed. So the energy we have now, we're all... Me, you, Adam, we're all energy. So the idea is that this energy cannot leave the earth. That's what science would say. So that when we die, our energy has to be transferred to something else. Now, some people think it's transferred to a ghost, which is what people apparently, that's what Adrian was explaining to us. Other people think that our spirit is transferred to another unborn creature. Like our spirit's transferred into a mom, into that baby. And when that baby's born, our soul's in that thing, that baby. I don't know if I'm on that page, though.
I just wonder how many of those scientists? I'm not like debunking like the whole energy can't be created or destroyed because that's that's science. But
it's a law, yeah.
But like I'm just wondering how many like people who like are very firm in that also believe in like the idea of reincarnation. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like science.
Not too many. I would say.
Yeah. I feel like scientists wouldn't be the first people to tell you that reincarnation is a real thing.
Yeah.
You know because scientists probably don't believe in like the soul and the spirit and stuff like that.
Yep.
Again, obviously I'm not speaking for scientists or anything.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the common way of thinking for scientists probably wouldn't be that like your soul will just be transferred from one body to another, or like your spirit would be.
No, it's ours.
And there's no way to prove that. So, what do you think, Damon? Do you think reincarnation is a thing, or is it?
I'm not pro reincarnation, so I guess I'd have to say no. I don't really think it's a thing. I think like our spirits are who we are, and
You think when we die, our energy is just transferred to the earth?
Or to heaven, Or
yeah, well, I'm definitely for I believe in heaven, whatever. But I'm saying like our energy from our body has to go somewhere when we die.
See, I don't know if, I guess that's the first I've heard of it related to energy in the body having to go somewhere because it's like a candle. I mean, like if a candle has energy and it goes out. Does that energy go into the smoke then and like go away, or you just kind of go away?
I don't know. I guess my more where I was going.
So no, I guess no. Yeah, I mean, there's probably some religions that really believe in
reincarnation. Yeah, I think Muslim is a big. Isn't that?
And I'm not dissing any other religions.
I would say you're asking the right guy, but you're not. I'd have to get Pops on the phone for that one.
I'm not. I know, like you said, there are religions that think that reincarnation's a thing.
I think that might be more of like a Hindu thing too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like a Buddhist or Hindu religion. Yeah, for sure. That brings me to another.
Did you say what you do you believe? Did you say?
I think like where energy
reincarnation?
Goes. Reincarnation's not. No, I don't think so. I think our energy goes into the earth and is put like wherever you want to say it goes. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know the science behind it.
We gotta get Joel in here and talk.
Yeah, I don't know if he knows where the energy. Yeah. I mean, he might. I don't know. That's such a weird thing. We'd have to get a scientist on here, or Joel, I guess.
Scientist or Joel.
Someone that knows about what happens to, or if
Joel's
you could.
A mortician.
Didn't we talk to somebody about like measuring your energy level? I think it was Jack, actually.
Mine's pretty low today. I came right from work.
Like measuring your energy level and then measuring it when you die.
Take a note.
Yeah, I will. I'll take a note. I'll put this down here.
I'll learn something.
Someone brought that up, but maybe it was Sherman. Someone brought it up though, like you can measure someone's energy, and it was Sherman. It had to have been when you can visually see the energy leaving their body. So I'll just put on here energy leaving body in horrible handwriting.
Everything's relative then, equal and opposite.
Yeah, it brings me to my next question, which is kind of a tough one, but I'm good at asking those.
We buzz in.
Where do you think the root of evil comes from? Are we born knowing good from evil, or is it something that, like, people would bring religion into this, but where, if you're anti-religion or whatever, where does the root of evil come from?
I think it's just like a psychological thing, you know. It's just something that, you know, your morals aren't, you know, lined up with everybody else's.
What are the right morals and wrong morals? Someone had to have created. How do we know right from wrong? How do we know? Yeah, how do we know right from wrong?
The 10 Commandments?
Yeah, I was going to say that's on top of my head.
I mean, there's got to be something that, I mean, some people are just born and like.
Are you looking for a cliche, like root of all evil, like money? Like
no.
Like
Like, I'm not looking for a cliche. I'm looking for some real good conversation on what we honestly think what could lead someone. Like, let's just bring in like a serial killer, for example. There are studies that would show that you can identify a serial killer from as young as 8 years old or 6 years old. You could identify someone that is
by their behaviors.
By their signs?
There's signs to show.
Sure.
Killing animals is something that I would identify as a serial killer. Bodily harm, self-bodily harm. There's a whole bunch. There's like, I don't know. We talked about it on one episode. There's a list of things that would lead somebody down a path that could in the future end up leading them to become a serial killer.
I'm gonna assume one of them's on there's like false sense of reality, like they don't really know what's real. Like that's a scary one to me nowadays.
I watch a lot of Criminal Minds. And that's
what do you? It's a mindset, personality trait. Someone who's not a psychopath, but they have. Sociopath. If they show sociopathic tendencies, more times than not, they'll end up being a serial killer. It's just the lack of respect for human beings and their life. Like, what would lead someone? I mean, 6 years old, 8 years old. There's got to be something other than what you learn from your parents or whatever, because it doesn't have to do just with what happens at home. Like, there are kids who grow up in perfectly fine households and end up going on later in life to do horrible things. So there is something else.
Well, and the mind is like a very complex organ. So, I mean, you definitely could have something off in there that is making you feel that way to that certain point where, you know, that's happening. And also there is got to be learn too. And you know, if you're in the wrong setting, it's probably a little bit of both. I mean,
true.
You know, and like we do our best, you know, or people should, or society should, if you see those signs, if it can be corrected, try to teach those kids some type of in some extent. Maybe it can be.
Can it be corrected?
Some extent it can be. I would think, and some maybe not, because if you're on that really far end, and then what do you do? You've probably been doing a little research on that, looking at some serial killers on some of the stuff like some of
the stuff we talked about. I keep seeing trending or like similar results between looking between them. You see the same things when they were younger, and it's like you can go back and literally look at Jeffrey Dahmer's past.
I was going to say, can you go back and look at their family trees, like what down the line, like?
Well, I haven't gone as far as to look at family trees, but I have gone to look at like they have people that have testified about their childhood, and now that you mention it, he did bring home roadkill, or he would kill neighborhood pets and stuff. Like, just a lack of respect for normal things. Like, most people would normally not even think about killing a dog or ripping apart a cat or like
horrible stuff.
Weird. And not only that, but storing the carcasses and playing with them and like dissecting them, like weird stuff like that. You'd think right away would be a red flag. And you can literally almost find that in every serial killer you look at. Like, they started by not killing humans; they started by killing animals. And I don't know. To me, there's got to be something darker driving people like that. I don't know if it's the devil. I have no idea what it is. Some people, I am officially convinced, were sent from hell to torment. It sounds horrible, but I think that these school shooters, these child molesters, people that just do not have any moral. Because you interview, like they interviewed the Iceman, Robert Kuklinski or whatever his name was. He killed hundreds of people, and he said he does not feel bad about killing one of them. It doesn't affect him because he literally said, I have no heart.
Yep.
Like, he has no heart. How could you get to that part? And it's got to be since you grew up. Like, there's something that was in you from day one, the root of evil. Like, what is that? What would drive somebody?
When it gets to that point, I wouldn't know the answer.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
That's like far into the spectrum, and you're probably onto something there. How, you know,
I'm wondering what it is. Like, maybe
on a smaller scale, like on a very lesser scale, like for the everyday person. I mean, it is a lot to do with how you live your life. Like, we're not talking about serial killers here now, or, you know, like you have to kind of learn empathy towards. It's good to learn empathy towards animals because then that leads to people in the opposite direction. I mean, that's some of the stuff we do with the horses and such, and the kids really do a great job learning that, or maybe haven't been around or had someone to even tell them like other people's feelings matter, because they're in such a bad place or a bad situation where they don't feel like anybody cares, and that's probably where it kind of starts out. I mean, try to put it in really simple terms, nobody cares, so nobody cares about me, so why should I care about anybody else?
They have that that lack of emotional feeling that them as themselves are not worth anything.
It's tough for me to sit here and say everybody has good in them when we're talking about the broad end spectrum of serial killers. It's almost impossible for me to say everyone has good in them when when you get to that point,
I'm talking about the worst of the worst.
So that is a tough situation. That's like maybe a small, well, hopefully
very small
percentage, but for the everyday person, like it is making those decisions, learning some of those skills, hopefully that build and seeing that being kind to people is where it's at. There's like an Indian proverb, or everyone's got a little bit of bad and evil in them, like a wolf. They got a good wolf and a bad wolf, and it's whatever wolf you feed is what comes out in you. So if you can feed yourself on the good side, you're going to go that direction. I mean, no one's perfect. So but I always remember that little proverb. Like I believe it's a Native American proverb, and it's a good one. And so I'd like to think.
Yeah.
There's good in everyone, but that is, to reiterate, that's the far end of the spectrum on that question.
Yeah, well, it kind of brings me to the point where you think like, oh, you can help anybody, you can stop something like this, but this whole point I brought this up is...
At what point would you be able to do that, right? Where would you have to find...
I don't think that for some of these people that there's anything that you could do to stop somebody like Robert Kuklinski or...
How about drugs? Like drugs, I'm assuming, do they whack out brains if you take...
I don't know.
We talked about one of those zombie drugs that one time.
Flakka, yeah. Flakka. I know some of these serial killers were on drugs. Some of them are completely sober, though. Like, drugs have no influence. And
scary stuff.
I don't know if you can blame it on drugs.
No, I'm not. I would never blame it on.
Yeah. You can get. I mean, Flakka,
you can alter your brain.
Flakka, you can alter your brain, but I think that there's got to be. This is why I brought up like the demon possession. There's got to be some satanic demon entering you that would make you go to a school or make you molest a child. Like, what in anyone's right mind would make someone feel like that's okay? There's nothing that you've been taught in your whole life. I don't know, maybe your family is just that messed up, but something tells me that there's something really dark going on.
I'm going to go to even a smaller scale, I keep something that we see every day, but to me, I just saw this again on, I think it was Facebook. People in a community put a lot of money in to do a playground, to do safe things for kids, like have a safe playground, and a couple of vandals wrecked it. Before it was even finished. I think this was in Wisconsin where my friends are from. And I thought the exact same thing that you're bringing up here is like, what person, who would have that in their mind to do that, Like what's in your mind or what happened?
You bring that up.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you bring up the playground. There was somebody, Adam, if you could look this up. I don't remember what state it is. Just look up razor blades on the playground. They were gluing with industrial glue. They were gluing razor blades to slides in a playground. What kind of son of a gun?
I feel like you get
there
caught.
It is right there. Razor blades found. That one, Huntsville. Ridiculous.
I know our prison system's packed, but I feel you do something like that. That should be like a
death
high
penalty.
Offense.
I would go death penalty.
First tonight,
it sounds horrible.
That with kidnapping too.
Oh yeah.
Razor blades are found on 2 different playgrounds. The blades melted into the plastic of a slide. Hello, I'm Len Cannon.
Melted into the plastic.
Someone took time.
Blades were found at 2 parks
This
in
recent,
Huntsville,
no, this is a while ago.
Park and Bitcher Mill Park. Grace White spent the day talking to families there, and she joins us now with this troubling story. Grace.
So far, police found 4 razor blades at 2 separate parks. Even more disturbing, investigators say they used a lighter to melt them to the plastic.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. No.
It's the last place. Anyone expects to meet.
You say Brick City to the kid?
Bring their kids
if he misses that, I'm shutting it off.
It should be a safe haven for children.
They couldn't show them make a basket.
Play and be normal children.
But at 2 Huntsville parks, police are investigating a dangerous discovery. Razor blades melted into slides.
Wow. I can't imagine.
I think that's what you're talking about, early
what
signs.
A person would be thinking in their mind to do that.
She just said, I can't imagine what kind of person.
Those playgrounds, Emancipation Park on Martin Luther King Drive and the City Park on Botcher Mill Road.
ridiculous.
Yeah, you can't use the term right mind in the same sentence as that stuff that's going on. It's
no.
It's not what a normal person's gonna.
I don't care what you went through in your life, what kind of drugs you're on. The only thing I could think of that would drive someone to do something like that would be literally the devil influence. Like, I don't know what is wrong going on in your mind or whatever, but nothing would back that up. Like, there's not one thing. Like, you could have the worst life ever. You could literally be the biggest piece of shit ever, but you will not go to a playground and melt razor blades into a slide unless you literally are like have some satanic devil. I don't know. To me, there's nothing. You deserve to be killed. Like, there is no reason to keep people like that on this earth. Like, you will never come back from something like that. And it really makes me so mad because I have a younger sister, and she, there's a playground. Not far from our house and everything. And if someone ever did that, like, I could never forgive somebody that did that. And they always talk about forgive and forget, but like something like this, I don't know. Like, there's no way that I could ever get over something like that.
Yeah, I forgive once in a while, but I don't forget.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to forgive. I shouldn't say that, but
no.
Yeah, it's just like I think we need harsher.
I know exactly what you're saying, Ethan.
Yeah, we need harsher penalties.
Yep, I know what you're saying.
For people that get caught doing stuff like this. Like, I don't know what kind of penalties are in place. And I don't think our corrections, our system right now there's something wrong with it. People people that are sex offenders and stuff like that, there definitely needs to be a harsher offense or a harsher punishment for someone that kidnaps kids, molests kids, incest, anything like that. There needs to be a really harsh punishment.
I always think in my head, like, what would have happened 150 years ago, like in the Wild West, like what?
Oh, yeah.
Or like I think I joked after one of the podcasts, like, people complaining about things, and it's like, oh, you would have made a great pioneer, Like, how would you have survived back then? If you can't, if that's bugging you right now, you wouldn't have stand a chance to survive 100 years ago.
No way. And I mean, if you looked at that Olympian when that son of a gun, that doctor who raped like 100 girls. Yeah. What was his name? I can't think of his
name. The gymnast?
Larry something.
Yeah, it was Larry. It was Larry something.
Look it up. Larry, the Olympian. He was the doctor, like the physician. Yeah. Larry. I can't think of his name. When you say the last name, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Just look up Olympian doctor. He sexually assaulted like 100.
Larry
Nassar, that son of a bitch. Like, literally, what a monster. I don't know how many hundreds of girls that he sexually assaulted, young girls. And the dad at one of the...
Oh, can you imagine?
The court hearings. The dad literally jumped over... He first of all asked the... you can maybe find the video if you look up dad in court goes crazy. He asked the judge if he could have 10 minutes in a locked room with this guy. Because he would just kill the guy.
Oh, absolutely.
He'd beat him until he was dead. You have to find. Oh, you have to look up dad.
Yeah, I'll just put
he asked the judge. He asked the judge if he could have 10 minutes, and the judge said, we can't do that. Yeah, there it is. And then he said, give me 5 minutes, and the judge says, we can't do that. So he jumps over the counter, goes after Larry.
I went to images. Come on.
I wish that they could have let the guy do what he wanted.
I saw one video. It was either today or yesterday, and it was this guy who was walking out of the courtroom, and he had I think he had like killed like his 3-month-old son or something.
Oh, I saw that.
And then the baby's uncle like runs up to him as he walks out and just socks him in the face.
Yep.
I think he actually got charged with it was 18 months or something for doing that.
Really?
For contempt.
That is ridiculous. I mean, you have to follow the law, obviously, but that's where it needs changing. The law needs changing. If there was harsher punishments, there would be less crime. It's just people would not be doing it if they knew what the punishment was. They wouldn't do it. And it was something that because I obviously I had thought about like the religious aspect of it. Like, what is honestly like what does the Bible say about like the death penalty and everything? Yeah. But I talked to Sherman about it, who was a pastor. And he brought up a Bible verse that really made me think, and it was someone who commits capital crimes deserves capital punishment or whatever. And it was like literally a Bible verse. I'm like, dang, that's actually in the Bible.
Play stupid games.
Win stupid prizes. And so I was like, here, I'll get this video turned up. I was like, dang, so if it's in the Bible, then I'm like, that really changes.
That's such a fine line because that's what you fall back on, right?
I mean, you kind of want to look and you want to get guidance, like you want direction. So that was what I was thinking. Is this video going to play?
That is a fantastic question.
No, I'm gonna say no. My money's on no. Who's got $2?
No. I mean, every other video is played so far. Maybe it won't.
Those are all on YouTube though. Those are on ABC News.
Oh, wasn't there one on YouTube?
Well, we can describe the video. He was in the courtroom. He jumped the table.
Yeah.
Leapt at the guy.
It was one of those videos that
Did
I
he
got
get a shot off or no? He didn't.
No, I don't think so. It was one of those videos that made me kind of happy though, because I really wish that the dad could have got a hold of Larry, because I would love to see that guy.
See, when I watch news like this, like that feeding thing, like. To balance myself out, I have to go find some good stories.
Yeah.
Like the news weighs so much, and it's always been said, but there's just like some of those are really cheesy, like the feel good stories. But that's why you almost need them, because you start seeing this stuff and you start thinking this is normal. This is the far from normal.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Let me turn it on.
The sentencing to grant me 5 minutes in a locked room with this demon.
There you go. He's a demon.
Would you do that?
That is not.
Yes or no?
No, sir.
Would you give me 1 minute?
You know that I can't do that. That's not how it is.
Well, I'm going to have to get something on.
Stay down. I understand.
Let me have it, son of a bitch. I want that.
That'd be the toughest thing for those police officers to have to do that.
Because they all want to see it too.
His 2 daughters were right behind him that were sexually assaulted by Larry. So I mean, I can't even imagine the pain. You don't have to reset the cameras, Adam. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine the pain and the suffering that they went through, and the dad has to watch his daughters, and the guys in the room. Like, I couldn't even imagine. I'd do the same thing, and it pisses me off so much. And I didn't mean for this podcast to turn into some rage fest or whatever, but like, that is that. And so I don't know how you get a positive spin on this one, other than people like that. I think there's just some dark, like we talked about, there's some dark energy, and there's nothing you can do. We just gotta, we need correction in our legal justice
We went
system.
from talking about the Wilder demon, which was entertainment, to real demons.
Yeah, for sure. Evil
demons
all
are
around
dark.
us. Yeah, evil all around us. So you need to be careful out there. But next week on the pod, well, actually, no, I shouldn't say that. Next week, because we filmed 2 episodes in one day. We're about to film the next one next, but that one will come out before this one. So we're confusing people now. So if we are not changed or whatever, it is for that reason, because we're not greaseballs. We filmed 2 episodes because I will be in Colorado next week. So
what you gonna be hunting for? What was on Colorado?
Colorado? That's Bigfoot. That's Bigfoot.
I don't have
I expect some Bigfoot stories when you get back, or some memorabilia, or like trinkets.
They do have a lot of Bigfoot memorabilia in Colorado, so I might have to pick something up. But for everyone watching, we'll be back next week. Not sure who will be on, but it'll be an entertaining podcast episode. And as always, thank you very much for tuning in. All you got to do to enter to win a T-shirt is share, comment, subscribe. If we keep picking up the amount of listeners and everything that we have been doing, we will make a Wilder Demon exclusive T-shirt.
Yeah. We didn't have to give one away today, did we? We didn't do the one last week?
No, because we're doing 2 in the same.
So you have to go buy one off the website.
That
Ethan just put on there.
twinstore.com, and if you go to shop under there, there's EC Show. You can go find all the merch on there.
Pick the alien one, so mine sells the most.
There's like 9 T-shirts on there, 1 hat. We will be continuing to add designs, but these are limited edition, so get one before they're gone. Nice. And we will be giving away more of them. Like I said, we have the Chupacabra limited edition one here, and so we will be giving this one away next week. So all you have to do to enter is share, comment, retweet, subscribe, like, anything to get the podcast out there. We'll be back next week. Damon and Adam, thank you guys very much for doing this 3-person podcast. We could have kept talking for a long time, but
always good.
So we gotta get ready for the next guest.
Doing at McDonald's sitting down.
There we go.
Bring us food.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. This has been a great episode. We'll be back next week. This is the Clerc Podcast Show.